With this workflow, you can take a transcript of a training video, a seminar, or any type of how-to explainer video that you've made, and you can process it in order to create a perfectly formatted PDF how-to document that allows your users to be able to see step by step exactly what they need to do thanks to your help in your video. All right, so what do? What we have up here is a Google Drive folder. I have a transcript of a video that I made. It's one of my YouTube videos. You'll see I've got timestamps in it. All right, get out of here, Gemini. All right, and so what we're gonna do is I'm just gonna go ahead and run this workflow, and then when it's all done, I will show you what it looks like. All right, there we go, all done. Let's come back over to here. Now, you'll notice that the document is gone. Let's go ahead and go to finished versions. And we're going to come here. This AI makes perfect product descriptions in seconds. That's the one. Let's go ahead and open it up. There we go. Got a nice PDF. Got an introduction. Got headings here. It's got bolding and lists. Next section, setting up data sources and triggers. Image handling and AI visuals. Again, lists and bolding and italics. Section dividers, so you know what happens in this stage. What do you need to know? Why does this matter? And another section here, benefits you'll notice, tips. I'm not sure I included the tips. I did generate the tips, and then we have a conclusion. So wonderful. It makes a beautiful PDF that explains exactly what somebody would need in order to set up one of the workflows that I generate. It tells them what tools that they're going to need, how the credentials that they need to set up, things that they need to input. Absolutely beautiful. As always, you can get today's workflow by going to our free Skool community, where we keep all of our past workflows, training videos, tools, and templates. You can also join hundreds of AI enthusiasts all looking to grow their businesses with AI-powered automations. And make sure to join us in our advanced community, where we have over 20 hours of additional AI and N8N training courses to help you learn how to ride this AI wave, as well as a group of committed AI-focused business owners all looking to help each other grow and scale. Let's go ahead and now walk through it and show you kind of step by step how this workflow works. So it works starting with a Google Drive trigger, and we just have this set to my Google Drive credentials. If you don't have Google Drive or your Google Cloud Console set up, I'll have a link in the description below on how to set that up. Should have a poll time of every minute. It's going to trigger on changes involving a specific folder. And in this case, we're watching for file created. Now the folder is, I have it called step-by-step workflow guide generator via transcripts. That's a really long name. Obviously, you can name it whatever folder you have, use it. Just real quick, now I'm thinking about it. Do notice that this workflow is not active. I don't have this set to be one that I have turned on. I don't necessarily turn all of my workflows on. This is one that's really just kind of helpful for me. I'll make a video, I put it up on YouTube, and while it's still private, I don't even need to have it published yet. I can get the transcript with the timestamps, put it into a Google Doc, put it in my Google Drive, and then just hit the button. And now when I go and I put it into my Skool community, there's an extra PDF how-to guide that you can use. I can put this PDF guide and upload it to maybe a vector store database and create a RAG database of instructions on all these things. So really a lot of variable usages for these tools right here. All right. So with that said, Google Drive trigger, that leads to a Get document Google Docs node here. And what we're doing is I have my Google Docs credentials. Again, links in the description below if you don't have Google Docs set up yet. All right, resources document, our operation is get. We're getting the document ID. So the ID is down here, somewhere down here, way down here. Here's the ID, just grab that, put it over. So we're getting all of the content of the Google Docs document. That's what we're doing. So I'm getting the text. Now I could use like an extract node and have that turned into a text node. I don't need to do that. I can just get the document directly within N8N. Good to go. Then we pass it to this AI agent here. This AI agent is going to write the introduction of our document. So I give it the video title, which is the name of the document. Now, I guess quick note, what I did is when I took the transcript from YouTube, I put it into a Google Doc. I then named the Google Doc the name of the video. That way it would have the video title, just like that, right? So the document be the name of the Google Doc. That way your video title transfers through. And then I give it the transcript as well, run it through this system prompt here. It's a professional brand-centric technical writer and workflow editor. Its job is to review and turn the video transcript into an engaging, approachable, informative introduction for a how-to guide. All right, so its goal, create a warm, welcoming, and useful 4-paragraph introduction. Paragraph 1 is a hook. Number 2 is explain what the workflow does. Number 3 is cover what tools are used. And number 4, invite the reader to live support calls. So if we come back over here, up here, 1, 2, 3, 4, and you have, if you want one-on-one guidance, you can reach out to me, right? Perfect. Probably I'd want to update this myself to include my link to my school account, but such is life at the moment. Chain of thoughts, give it understanding the document, understand the basics of what the outcome is, break down what tools are needed, find what the hook is that'll get the user to really want to read this document, build it all out, and then finalize it with a call to action at the end. Some style notes, no generic openers, none of that AI in today's world. That's so boring, right? The tone should feel friendly and knowledgeable. It should be concrete language and relatable, no fluff or hyperbole. We're trying to build trust with everybody that we're making these documents for. Give some what not to do's. Never begin with generic business phrases or buzzwords. No parroting anything from the transcript. No sounding like this is the tutorial. This is supposed to be just an introduction. Don't omit the CTA, and don't remove mention of the N8N or community, right? And then we give it an example and then move on. So then it makes it my introduction for me. I then also add another section here, another AI agent node, which gives it the transcript, gives it the title. And this one is supposed to identify what are the tools that the user is going to need in order to be able to use this document or to use this workflow. All right, so it reads the full transcript, identify only the tools or services that are clearly mentioned by the speaker as being used in the workflow itself. It needs to output a clean bulleted list of those names and never infer, guess, or hallucinate anything else. Then we give it a nice clean chain of thought on how to identify those things. We tell it how to output it. It's just a bulleted, a dash bullet list. Each line contains one tool, API, or service, or software. No need to explain, just the list. And no hallucinating. And then we give it an example here. Boom, boom, boom. All right, which is what it did. Gave me that output. Wonderful. We then take those, and I want to store that somewhere. And I don't want to necessarily store it in the transcript document. I want to use that transcript again somewhere else. So I'm not yet ready to put this into a PDF because I don't have the full part of the document yet. So I'm just going to go ahead and create another Google Doc, and then I'm going to move it into a folder and then update that Google Doc with the information that we just wrote out. So what I do, we got another Google Docs node here, resources document, operation is create. We're going to create it. In this case, it's in my drive as the parent level folder. And then I have one subfolder down is my AI projects folder. I'm going to name it, here I have it in quotation marks, the name of the video, how-to guide. All right, and so you'll see here, this AI workflow makes perfect product descriptions in seconds. It's in quotes, how-to guide, which is exactly what I want. And just because I created it, like I said, doesn't mean it's in the right place. It doesn't mean it has any information in it. So I have to then use this Google Drive node here. This one is a resource file, operation move, moving by file ID. And in this case, the file ID is the same as the Google Docs file ID. That's what we're moving. And I'm going to be moving it to the parent drive, which is my drive. That's the top level drive folder. And then I'm going to be moving it into the actual folder that I want it to go into. All right, so when you first create it, you only have one level down you're allowed to put it in. Then you have to move it. So here I'm moving it, and the folder I'm putting it in is called Output Guides. So if I come back over here, close this for a second, I have a folder here called Output Guides, and this is where all of my my Google Doc documents are stored. All right, let's come back here. Then what I do is I do another Google Doc node, and this time we're actually going to start putting information into it in order to start making our draft. So resources document, operation is update. We're getting the document ID. We're going to pull that from the Google Docs ID over here. Just drag that over. Actions object is text. Action is insert. Insert segment is body. Insert location is at the end. And then what I have here is I wrote out the word introduction. And I probably should add some HTML to this. You might want to add some HTML to this so that when the PDF is generated, it looks better than it does here. So if I come here and I open up this one, you'll see it says introduction. That's from me typing it in right here, all right? So you may want to add in some, I guess if you did Markdown, the bot at the end that transforms Markdown into HTML would catch it. So whether you do HTML or Markdown, you can make the introduction look better by adding some code there. And when I say code, I mean, if you just do a pound. That's what you need. All right. And then we put our introduction in first, a couple spaces, and then we put in some asterisks as a divider. And then we wrote out necessary credentials required to run this workflow. So if I come back here, necessary credentials to run this workflow, just like that. And then we put in from the generate necessaries output, just place that right in there, add some more space and some more asterisks and some more space. All right, and so now our document has kind of the initial information in it, and now it's time to write the rest. So with that, we have this AI agent here, and it's got an output parser, so be aware of that. This one, we're gonna give it the video title and the transcript. It's pretty much all we're gonna give these AI agents. We'd have this output parser turned on, like I said. This system prompt simply says it's a structural content analyst trained to deconstruct the workflow video transcript into a maximum of 5 non-overlapping sections. All right, so it's going to look at the transcript and it's going to go, okay, there are up to 5 distinct sections in this video. And obviously you can change this if you want. If your videos are longer, you can add more sections. If they're shorter, you can tell it maximum of no more than 3 or whatever. I just have it set to 5. In fact, I tell it make 3 to 5 logical non-overlapping steps. All right, and then I have it output, and here's where the structured part comes in, a section number, a section title, and a section description. All right, so it's going to come up with, section 1, here's the number, it's titled this, and then a description of what that section is supposed to be about. That way, when my writing bot goes to do this, it's able to go, okay, based on the transcript, I'm only writing about this section, and here's the description of what I'm writing about. All right, so no more than 5. And if the transcript contains more than 5 phases, combine minor steps into larger logical groups, maintain clarity, give it a chain of thought on how to understand what it's supposed to do, and then we give it some output format examples. So here's 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Each one has a title, right? And then each one has a description of what that section is going to be about. We then also have some what nots to do. Do not create more than 5 sections under any circumstances. Never overlap the sections, so they need to be distinct. I don't want it saying the same thing over and over and over again. That would be boring. Do not split small steps into their own sections. Group them logically. Never guess or add sections not clearly implied by the speaker. And some reminders. Output is for structuring a guide, course, or content navigation. So it needs to be practical, minimal, and clear. The title should be straightforward and descriptive, not creative and marketing style. It needs to tell them what this is. And the description should focus on what the viewer will learn or accomplish in each section. So like I said, it's going to output 5 of these things. We'll take a look at the output parser real quick. It's pretty much the same as the example, and it's because I copied the example over. And so it has this example, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sections, each with a section number, a title, and a description. All right, so it outputs those. We then come over to this split out node. Split out node is just going to split out the output, so output, into its individual components. So each one of those sections is going to be its own thing. And it's going to be passed through this loop here. Now, to start the loop, and I'm doing it in batches of 1, in case you were wondering. At the start of the loop, what we're going to do is we're going to landmark all of our information that's coming into the loop. I don't want to have my AI agent try to reach back in, before the loop to try to get anything. It's not going to be able to get it right. So instead, I'm going to landmark it here. I call it set initial. And so I set the section number, the section title, the section description, and in fact, the transcript as well. I just give it the transcript all right here. That way, my AI agent does not need to reach out before the loop. It's got it all right within here. All right, we then go and also pull the draft that we've written so far. So we're going to pull the document. In this case, it doesn't matter that I'm using a first. I'm going before the loop because there's only one document ID. I don't have to worry about different sections coming in and all that. So we grab one document ID and it's operation get. We're going to pull all of the text out of the Google Doc. So here it is. And we're going to pass that to the section writer. Now, the thinking behind this is I want my section writers to understand not just the transcript, not just the section that it's writing, but all of the information that's come before as well. That way it doesn't accidentally duplicate saying something or giving an instruction over again if it's already been given before. So by having it give it the entire draft each time it runs through, and that draft keeps getting bigger and bigger each time it runs through this loop, it's going to be able to have a better context of what it's writing while it's making this document. So then we come into this AI agent that actually does the writing of the section. All right, and so we just give it a prompt, write a section for the walkthrough based on the video tutorial, and then we give it the name of the video. I think specifically the name of the video. That's right. We come down here, and what we do, and please tell me I gave it, yes, okay. Whew. Like I had another version of this a few days ago. I was looking at it, I'm like, where is the rest of the content? But I gave it back to it, just for you guys. All right, so it's a professional technical copywriter and workflow explainer. Its task is to write clear, relatable, and non-technical walkthrough section based on a video transcript and section context. All right, it needs to explain what this part of the workflow does in plain language. It needs to include any needed setup context, such as the credentials or prompts or API keys, customizations you might need to make, as bulleted lists where relevant. It needs to break down the section into easy to follow steps, if possible using numbered or bulleted lists for clarity. So that's why it's got so many lists in there, so you can see what's going on. Does not instruct the user on how to build the workflow node by node. That's not what I'm trying to do. I'm personally giving away these things, so I don't know why you need it. But if you want that to change this particular instruction, so maybe you have a different type of how-to video that you're making that they need to build, step by step, you can change that. All right. Needs to help you have the reader understand when, why, and how this workflow runs without technical or jargon or UI steps. And it needs to feel friendly and lightly educational. So we're going to give it the section title, the section description, and the transcript. This all comes from that set node we were just looking at. We give it a chain of thought, and we also so understand the section, scan the transcript, build a walkthrough in plain language, and then we also give it the entirety of all of the content of the draft so far. So this one says, show where this fits in the larger walkthrough. Here's the content of all prior walkthrough sections. Boom, right there. We give it the whole thing. So if I scroll down, you'll see that's the transcript. So let's scroll faster. Ooh, there we go. Way down here. Here's the document. So each time it goes through, it's going to get a larger and larger section of this document. And I mean, it's not that many pages, right? This is 5 pages at most. We're only talking maybe couple thousand tokens. It's not going to cost you too much unless you're using like the cutting edge models. If you're using 4.1, no problem. It's not going to cost you much of anything. All right, style and formats, pure Markdown only. I have this one right in Markdown for purposes of really just having it nice and easy. I don't want to accidentally get the wrong HTML code. Sometimes when I tell a looping agent to write HTML, sometimes it'll add extra HTML header code that it doesn't necessarily need, or it missed something it didn't need. I'm just going to tell it to do it in Markdown. And then I'll have another agent later transform it all into HTML. And so that makes it nice and easy. Markdown is pretty much just hashtags and asterisks, so there's not much to it. We also give it some header tags as well. So here we start with one H2 heading, and then we give it up to 400 words. That's the length that we're limiting it to. The tone is human, friendly, and clarifying. Short paragraphs for explanations. Numbered or bulleted lists. Give it some bolding, give it italics, as well as inline code for only essential technical references. So if for some reason it needed to give code that you needed to have, it would break it off into a code block, or at least note that it looks like a code block for you in the document. All right, what to avoid: no node by node or UI instructions, no repeating the transcript verbatim, no technical jargon or lingo, no writing in HTML or JSON, no mentioning the section numbers or labels, no summarizing the whole workflow. It's only supposed to do its individual section, and no conclusions or wrap-ups. It's just supposed to be just that section. All right, so then we give it an example output, and that's that one. So then it loops through that. One last node, we have another edit field node here. And this one, again, we're gonna just lock down all of our numbers. And I do this because when the information comes out, it's gonna all get aggregated together. I want it to make sure that it's identifiable to the agent what piece this was. So I just have output, and all 5 outputs are called output. the AI agent may not know which order it was supposed to come in, even though it may be in the right order. So I just make sure that all this information is attached here. So section number, section title, section description, and then the section content, which is the output of our AI agent that just wrote the section that we just generated. So it loops through it 3 to 5 times, comes through this aggregate node. Aggregate node squishes it all into a single item, because see we have 5 items coming out of the loop node. Squeeze it all into one. Then we pass it through this AI agent, which is going to get the video title and the video transcript, and it's going to write the conclusion. So, it's a professional brand-centric technical writer who specializes in writing persuasive relational conclusions. It wraps up the guide in a helpful human way, reinforces the value of the workflow the reader just learned, invites the reader to join our community. Like, again, you might want to include your instructions in here. Definitely remove my name. My name is in here. Like, it's just a placeholder. You want to put your name or your company name. The workflow context. All the workflows are N8N. The workflows are available for download and here's my community. You're going to want to put in your information. Support is available through the twice weekly calls with me and one-on-one consulting. And then it needs to write a conclusion, approximately 3 paragraphs. It needs to naturally wrap up the experience, know the end or in conclusion language. It needs to sound like it's a natural conclusion, nice landing to this thing. Encourages the reader to use the workflow, reassures them that help is available in the community with me, and gently, and again, you want to change that to you, and gently pushes one-on-one consulting or done-for-you services. So again, if you have a different type of service, don't say workflows. So you do have to go in here, you got to adjust these a little bit for your own purposes. Chain of thought, just kind of how does it come up with the conclusion? Here I tell it how to reach out. Please don't include my email address in your documents. All right, like it's all well and good that I get all kinds of free business from people, but change the email address. I might even just say placeholder email like that. Actually, no, I'm not. I'm going to leave it because I'm fairly certain this might be my version of it. And I haven't duplicated it yet. For you guys, that could be why. Style notes, write in a friendly, helpful, confident tone. Keep paragraphs short, no headings or lists, sound like a real person, and don't make this a sales pitch. That's not what it's supposed to be. Some what not to do's, don't summarize the whole thing, no phrases like in conclusion or to sum this all up, no generic language or empty fluff, and it has to make sure it includes a CTA. And we give it an example. All right, that then all gets put, so all of the sections and the conclusion then get put into Google Docs. So we got another Google Docs node here, resources document, operation is update. We're using our Google Docs ID that we had when we first created the document. And then what we do is we're just going to add it all to the bottom. So we're going to add the output. In fact, this added it to the individual sections. I guess I forgot to jump over that, or I did jump over that accidentally. After it does the output of the AI agent, it then adds it to the Google Doc. So my bad, I missed a node real quick. But going back, it then adds the conclusion at the very, very end, right there. And then what do? Well, we're going to move this file. We're going to move it into the transcript file, the one that was in here. It was in this folder, because if you remember, there was a file here originally. It moves that folder, your transcript file, to another folder called process transcripts. So you want to set it up like this, where you just have your main folder. You're going to have a process workflow transcripts, output guides, and then finished versions, pipe, step-by-step workflows. All right. If you have it set up like that, then this whole thing will work really nice. So our transcript gets put into a folder called process transcripts because it's done. Like, you don't need that one anymore. If you want to just push the button again and run it again, or even turn it live and just have it process through anything you put in there, definitely can do that. Then that's it. Okay, that's the report has been made. The how-to guide has been written. Now we're going to take that report or the how-to guide and we're going to turn it into the PDF. So what we do is we have one more Google Docs node here. We're going to pull that whole document one more time. So just resource document, operation is getting by that document ID, getting the whole document now. We're then going to run it through one more AI agent, and we're just giving it all of the content of the document, so all the text. We're going to run it through this system prompt here, that it is an expert markdown to HTML converter AI agent. Okay, that's all it's doing. It's not rewriting anything. It better not be rewriting anything because I have I have the chat model set to a fairly low sampling temperature here. So the lower the sampling temperature, the more deterministic the response will be, meaning it's going to be the same answer every single time this guy runs if you gave it the same inputs. All right, so I want it to only have one. I don't want it to be creative. That's what I'm trying to say. I don't want this to be creative. And in fact, I'm using 4.1 mini here. I think I use 4.1 for the rest. Yes. If you don't yet have an OpenAI API credentials, I'll have a video link in the description below on how to set that up. But if you don't want to use OpenAI, you can use Claude, you can use Gemini, whichever one you want. I use OpenAI. Anyway, back to this AI agent here. Let's go ahead and check out his system prompt again. Context, users provide a walkthrough document already carefully written and finalized in Markdown. It must convert the content to HTML without omitting, altering, summarizing, or reducing any content. The output should enable users to post the converted content directly to a PDF workflow, preserving the exact structure and intent of the original document. All right, we're taking the Markdown, turning it into HTML, and that's it. So it needs to recognize the Markdown format document, or receive the document, recognize all the elements. It needs to break it down, what it needs to change, and then it needs to change it. So the title should be H1, section heading should be H2, H3, so on. Bold should be strong, italics is EM, lists, different kinds, code blocks, inline blocks, links, images, code blocks, tables, horizontal rules, and all of that, all right? And then builds the document, so convert the entire Markdown input into a single well-formatted HTML output, preserving all original content and intent. And if a Markdown feature is present but ambiguous, map to the closest HTML equivalent. And then the final answer should just be the HTML output only. All right, with no extra Markdown, no extra JSON, none of that, just the HTML. All right, so no extra text, no Markdown. Output starts with an H1 for the document title. It's a little interesting that it didn't do that on the one I gave you guys, but so be it. Use proper nesting and indentation for all HTML elements. Never summarizing, no Markdown again. Never add extra HTML or styling guide outside the structural tags. No comments or explanation. And it should not wrap it in this kind of triple tick HTML. Sometimes I've seen agents do that. If it does that, it will not pass forward to our PDF generator properly. So we need to make sure it doesn't add that. Always preserve every word, symbol, and line of the source Markdown. Always represent Markdown semantics using the proper HTML tag. And if an edge case arises, default to the literal PRE representation. All right, so then we give it an example of some Markdown and then what it should do as its output. So here's another one with a table, and here's one that gives the table view in HTML. And some final notes, if it does not contain an explicit top-level heading, treat the first line as a paragraph. If any Markdown is non-standard or non-recognized, wrap it in a PRE tag. Never modify content to clean up or improve the writing. And for ambiguous Markdown, always prefer more explicit HTML for clarity. When in doubt, preserve exactly as written using HTML structure. So what that then does is it's then going to send our HTML, the whole output is going to be one HTML output, and we're going to send it to a service called API-template.io. So if I come over here, API-template.io, and you check out the pricing. Their free plan lets you do up to 50 PDF documents a month, man. How awesome is that? And like the starter one for 30 bucks a month, 1,500 documents. That is incredible. So like, I really like this service. I use it for a lot of my different workflows. I use it for my invoice generator. I'm planning on using it for my my lead magnet generator. I'm going to be able to have people custom make their own lead magnets using templates that I've built and just fill in the details for them. It's going to be really cool. But I'm going to use this service to do it. So again, that's just API-template.io. And back to the workflow. You need to get your credentials for them, and that's basically just logging in. Hopefully I don't need my password. All right, so once you're logged in, you just come over to API integration. I'm not going to click that because I don't know if it's going to show my API key, but the API key is just sitting there. All right, you grab that, you use this URL endpoint, which is just https://rest-us.api-template.io/v2/create-pdf-from-html. Then what you do is you set this authentication to predefined credential type. Credential type is going to be API template.io API. It's built into N8N. And then you just set this up in here. All right. So you set up your credentials in here. Again, I'm not going to show you necessarily how to do that because I don't want to show off my API key. We're going to set some send query parameters using fields below. First one is just going to be file name, no space. Value is going to be the name of the video, space dash space, how-to guide.pdf. And then we're also going to send some body information. The body information is really the formatting. It's the content for one, but it's also the formatting of what this thing is going to look like. All right, so if you liked what this guy looked like over here, you like this, nice and clean, nice and simple, you can leave it how it is. Otherwise, you want to change this section here, all right? All of this is the styling. This here, body, this is the content. And you'll notice I have, it's a JSON.output essentially, because I'm outputting the content from the AI that did the HTML. And you see it made a paragraph. I did make it a paragraph rather than a header, but whatever. Here I have a dot replace. This dot replace is important because if you have any extra quotation marks, be aware of this. If there's any extra quotation marks anywhere in the content that gets output by the AI, any of the AIs really, this will break the code and it won't upload and you won't be able to make a PDF. All right, so the dot replace will strip out those extra quotation marks and allow you to go on your merry way. All right, so what it does is it uploads to API template.io. It's going to generate your PDF document. Here it said 5 pages, status of success, and it gives us a download URL. So then what we're going to do is we're going to actually have a download node. So just an HTTP node, method is get, our URL is the download URL we were just given right there. We don't need any authentication for this, so wonderful, and we just download it. And it's going to output a binary file called data. And what we can do is we just take a Google Drive node, and we're going to use an upload operation. So resources file, operation is upload. Our input data field name is data. See it right there, data. The file name, like we get to name it again, is just, I gave it the name of the video, space dash space how-to guide. And I put it into my drive, into the folder that I said I wanted it in. In this case, it's going to go into the finished versions pipe step-by-step workflows. Again, you can name that what you want. Just make sure to change it in the workflow if you want something different. So what it does is it downloads it from API template.io and then it uploads it right back into Google Drive for us. And now our PDF is there for us. And that is how this how-to guide generator will work to be able to make how-to guides based on pretty much any how-to video that you might make, as long as you can get the transcript. Now, again, this was made for workflows. All right, I don't even have the tag set to free. If I have it set to free, it means I've already gone through the process of making it for you guys where I strip out a lot of my information and stuff. So there is going to be a little bit of tweaking on your part for your own specific use case, for your own specific business, all right? If you're talking about AI stuff and you're doing how-to videos, then I guess it's technically good to go. Just change my name and my email out for your stuff. Wonderful. Perfect. So if you found this video helpful, please make sure to subscribe to the channel, like and share the video. It really does help get this information out there to those who need it. Also, if you want additional helpful N8N tutorials or a bunch of free workflows, I got a ton of free workflows. Go to my free school community. The link is in the description below. I've got social media posting bots, lead scrapers, business tools, executive assistants, and so much more, all absolutely for free. And as always, I'm Bradford Carlton. Let's automate your success together.